If you're a man desperate to improve your love life and trying to attract women who don't run away at the sound of your voice, the first thing you need to do is understand how men who actually have something to offer communicate with them. These guys know what they're doing, and if you stop insisting on the same old nonsense and copy some of these strategies, who knows? One day maybe you'll even get a woman to respond to you. If you manage to learn what we're going to show here, hard but okay, you'll notice a striking difference in how they treat you. And that's because, well, the way they treat you now must already be tragic. In this video, we'll explain 10 ways high-value men use to talk to women, as well as give practical examples, because you really need them, and even mention studies to see if you believe in anything. So, without wasting any more time, let's try to save whatever's left of your love life. Number 1. They don't humiliate themselves by trying to seem interesting. Men who have something to offer don't need to beg for anyone's attention or approval, least of all a woman's. They have more than enough confidence and make that clear without needing verbal acrobatics. And before you confuse confidence with arrogance, understand that these guys are just comfortable with who they are. They don't care about pleasing everyone, let alone sucking up to anyone. So stop memorizing lame jokes or cliches to try and impress someone. You know how you start a conversation. Like a normal person, walk up and introduce yourself. It's that simple. Research shows that women prefer men who aren't desperate, meaning men who have their own lives under control. Do you think they want someone who rehearses lines in front of the mirror or sounds like they've memorized a YouTube tutorial? Of course not. High-value men don't need to prove anything. And guess what? When you stop trying to prove the impossible, you end up seeming more real and even, gasp, attractive. It's almost like the secret is to simply not be pathetic. Number 2, they don't avoid eye contact like they owe something. They know the importance of eye contact. Maintaining eye contact is the simplest and, at the same time, most effective trick that high-value men master. When they're talking to a woman, they don't look at the floor like they've dropped a coin, nor do they avoid eye contact like they're hiding some dark secret. They look directly into the eyes of the person they're speaking to, which, surprise, shows genuine interest and a confidence that many people out there only pretend to have. This eye contact is powerful because it sends the message that the man is present at the moment, focused on the conversation, not distracted or bored. Now, if you think you can win someone over while checking your phone or looking at everything except the person in front of you, it's time to rethink that. Women notice when you're not paying attention, and nothing screams disinterest more than constantly looking away. High-value men understand that eye contact isn't just a polite gesture. It's a way to convey confidence without saying a word. Additionally, eye contact does something magical. It creates a connection. When you look someone in the eye while speaking, you're saying, without opening your mouth, that what they're saying matters. This builds a stronger, more genuine bond, something women, guess what, love. It's a sign of maturity, that you're not there just out of protocol or for superficial interest, but because you genuinely want to be part of the conversation. So instead of acting like a scared cat who can't look anyone in the eye for long, learn to use eye contact to your advantage. Because in the end, if you can't even look a woman in the eye, how do you expect her to see any value in you? Number 3, they know that sometimes the mouth was made to be shut. High-value men have something most don't, the ability to stay silent and listen. While many guys think they need to fill every second of a conversation with words to seem interesting, the men who really get it do the opposite. They know that the real key to connecting with a woman is to listen more than talk. This shows that they're not there just to unload their opinions, but to understand the person they're talking to. The classic mistake most men make is thinking they need to impress a woman with a torrent of words, as if they were some sort of traveling variety show. But the reality is that silence, when used well, can be far more powerful. By letting the woman speak, you create space for her to open up, which automatically makes her feel more comfortable and valued. And what happens when someone feels heard? They become more attracted to you. It's as simple as that. High-value men understand that seducing isn't about being the center of attention, but about creating a genuine exchange where the other person feels like their opinion matters. And here's the secret. When you finally speak, your words will carry much more weight. There's no need to fill the conversation with irrelevant chatter. Speak when you have something interesting or important to say, and the impact will be much greater. Let other guys fall into the trap of trying to fill every silence, while you, with all the calm and confidence in the world, listen, because in the end, being heard is far rarer and more attractive than being bombarded with words. Number 4, they don't ask questions just to fill awkward silences. High-value men aren't there to make small talk with superficial questions like, do you prefer the beach or the mountains? Or, what's your favorite color? They understand that to truly get to know someone, you need to go beyond trivialities. They ask questions that show genuine interest and help create a deeper connection. You know why? Because asking relevant and meaningful things shows you're paying attention, that you really want to understand the person behind the facade, not just kill time until they lose patience and walk away. This kind of questioning not only shows interest, but it also makes the woman realize she's talking to someone with depth. Silly questions might be fun for 5 minutes, but the conversations that truly engage are those where you challenge the other person to open up and share something important. And guess what? When you do that, you create a real exchange, not an empty interaction. A study in the Journal of Social Psychology, because yes, there are people who study even this, showed that people who ask deeper, more meaningful questions are perceived as more likable and interesting. So, if you want to make a good impression, stop trying to seem funny or interesting with rehearsed lines and start asking things that truly matter. This shows maturity, intelligence, and of course that you're not just passing the time. Besides, who doesn't like talking about themselves? When you ask good questions, you give her the opportunity to share something important. And believe me, that's worth much more than any cheap pickup line. Number 5, they have body language that doesn't scream, "Help, I'm insecure." High-value men don't need to puff out their chests like peacocks or cross their arms like they're about to face off in an MMA fight. They understand that body language is powerful, and more importantly, it sends a message long before any word leaves their mouths. These guys maintain a straight but relaxed posture, look others in the eye, and smile genuinely. No forcing a fake smile or trying to look tough all the time. Their confidence is in the balance, not the pose. You know what that conveys? That they're in control of the situation, comfortable with who they are and where they are. And guess what? Women notice that immediately. Nobody wants to be around someone who's tense, hunched over, or worse, trying to act like they're on the verge of a nervous breakdown from anxiety. The right posture and an authentic smile speak more about your confidence and character than any catchphrase or attempt to seem cool. Now, if you're out there thinking that awkward walking, a lost look, or constantly fiddling with your phone goes unnoticed, you can forget it. Women notice every detail. They know when you're insecure and uncomfortable. And no, that doesn't make you seem mysterious or interesting, it just makes you seem unprepared. High-value men don't need to put on a show. They know that the way they carry themselves, calmly, without exaggeration, says it all. So, stop trying to impress with a forced pose and focus on feeling good about yourself. True confidence comes from within, and believe me, that's far more attractive than any rehearsed pose. If you're tired of being the guy she ignores, steps on, and then tosses aside, it's time to wake up to reality. Want to stop being seen as weak and start being respected? The ebook in the description will show you how to use the right body language without seeming desperate. After this read, you'll learn how to project confidence without saying a word, Stop accepting disrespect and carry yourself like the man she admires and fears losing. No more being a doormat. It's time to show who's in charge and turn the game around once and for all. Number 6. They flirt without seeming desperate, which unfortunately isn't the case for many. High-value men know that flirting is the spark that ignites the fire of attraction. And guess what? They're not afraid to use it. While many men act like flirting is a suicide mission, these guys understand that it's an essential part of the game. And the best part? They do it without seeming like they're trying to convince someone to go out with them out of pity. A study in psychology of evolution, because even science knows flirting is important, showed that flirting helps gauge a potential partner's interest. So it's not just cheap charm, it's a tool for testing. Now, if you want to know if a woman is interested in you, forget about going straight to the point with a serious face like you're closing a business deal. Flirting is about being light, playful, and charming, without seeming like you've been rehearsing since the day before. The idea isn't to be complicated, it's just to show genuine interest, but with that little bit of boldness that makes things interesting. If you can do that without looking like you're begging for attention, congratulations, you're on the right track. If not, well, good luck next time. Number 7. They don't shake in their boots when they hear a no, unlike those who think it's the end of the world. High-value men see rejection like you should see a mosquito, annoying, but insignificant. They know it's part of the game, and honestly, they don't lose sleep over it. The big secret? They understand that the real failure is never trying. So instead of being paralyzed by the fear of hearing a no, they dive in, try, and if it doesn't work out, they move on without drama. If you want to succeed with women, stop treating rejection like it's a personal attack on your existence. Rejection doesn't say anything about your worth. It just means that at that moment, it didn't happen. And do you know what these guys do when it happens? They get up, dust themselves off, and move on to the next. Rejection is just another part of the process. But whining about it? Now that's pathetic. High-value men aren't living in some fairy tale where they believe every attempt will end in success. They know that rejection is as natural as breathing, and believe me, they don't waste time dwelling on every no they hear. In fact, for them, every rejection is just an opportunity to reaffirm that they're fine with themselves regardless of the answer they get. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, they think, okay, this one didn't work. Next. They don't define themselves by failure, and that's exactly what makes them so confident. If you're still stuck in the idea that a no means there's something wrong with you, it's time to rethink your priorities. The game of attraction isn't a straight line where every attempt leads to success. It's full of curves and detours. And if you're the type who gives up at the first rejection, you're going to be stuck in the same place forever. Number 8. They don't cling like gum to a shoe, and much less beg for attention. High-value men understand that there's nothing more repellent than seeming desperate for attention. They have their own lives, interests, and goals, and they don't chase after a woman as if she were the last drop of water in the desert. These guys don't beg for validation or try at all costs to please, because they know that anyone who's begging for attention has already lost the game before it even starts. Unlike the desperate guys who flood DMs and send messages every 5 minutes, confident men focus on being the best version of themselves. They understand that if a woman is interested, great, but if she's not, that's fine too. Their lives go on. They don't need to force a connection or act like they're on the verge of an emotional collapse if they don't get an immediate response. Because, surprise, neediness is a huge turnoff. Nothing is worse than someone who seems to be hanging on to you, waiting for any scrap of attention as if their very existence depended on it. High-value men make it clear that, yes, they're interested, but they also have their own lives. They know that women are naturally attracted to self-sufficiency and confidence, and that the real secret to attracting someone is not seeming like you die without their attention. They give space, don't cling, because they understand that attraction is built on balance, not too distant, not desperately close. So, if you want to improve your chances, stop acting like the other person's life is your lifeline. Number 9. They don't make a fuss over rejection, because they know not every no is the end of the world. High-value men have one thing clear in their heads. Not everyone is going to be interested, and that's okay. They understand that rejection is part of the game, and unlike many who make a big internal scene every time they hear a no, they don't waste time lamenting. They don't take it personally because they know their worth isn't measured by the interest of a single woman. They move on without drama, as if nothing happened because, guess what? Nothing really happened. These guys don't sit around wondering what they did wrong, or if they could have acted differently. They accept rejection as easily as they accept a compliment. After all, it's not the end of the world, and they have enough maturity to know that life goes on, with or without that specific interest. A study in the Journal of Social Psychological and Personality Science already showed that people who aren't fazed by rejections tend to have more success in their relationships. And it makes sense. The less you're affected, the more resilient and attractive you become. So, if you're the type who crumbles with rejection, it's time to change that mindset. Instead of treating every no as a personal attack, accept that it's part of the process. The sooner you stop being affected by it, the sooner you'll realize that rejection is just a detail, a small part of the path to success. And honestly, there's nothing more attractive than someone who keeps their composure and doesn't let a small setback shake them. Number 10. They don't play manipulation games. They leave that theater to the insecure ones who still think manipulation is charm. While insecure men are out there thinking they need to be war strategists to win over a woman, playing ridiculous mind games, ignoring messages on purpose, or pretending to be disinterested, high-value men simply don't have time or patience for that nonsense. They know that cheap manipulation might work on someone equally insecure, but the truth is that it only pushes away anyone who's really worth it. Authenticity is the key, and they understand that pretending to be someone else or trying to force reactions won't get you anywhere, except into a spiral of toxic relationships. High-value men know that genuine attraction doesn't come from pathetic games, but from transparency. They're not afraid to show who they really are, with their strengths and flaws, because they know that mature, interesting women value that above any forced performance. When you try to impress by being someone you're not, you might get temporary interest, but eventually the mask falls, and what's left is the person you were trying to hide, you. And guess what? There's nothing more frustrating for a woman than discovering that the person she got involved with doesn't actually exist. So, if you're still out there trying to seem disinterested, or you think you need a manipulation manual to win someone over, you're already doing everything wrong. High-value men don't play games because they know that in the end, those who pretend too much end up alone, and those who are authentic attract people who are really worth the effort. Number 11. They know that real change starts when you stop fooling yourself. Now, here comes the punch straight to the gut. If you're reading all of this and still think the problem is with women, fate, or any other lousy excuse, then congratulations, you're part of the problem. High-value men don't sit around waiting for anyone's approval to start acting like real men. They don't whine in corners, blaming the universe or luck for their failures. They face reality, as ugly as it may be, and do what needs to be done. Do you know the biggest truth these guys understand, which you're probably still resisting accepting? No one is going to save you from yourself. If you're waiting for a woman, a seduction guru, or some motivational video to magically turn you into a high-value man, I'm sorry. The only person who can do that is you. It's not about how you talk, how you act, or how you look. It's about who you are when no one is watching. And if the answer makes you want to run away from the mirror, then it's time to get a grip. High-value men aren't born ready, they build themselves. And guess what that involves? Discipline, brutal honesty with themselves, and most importantly, action. So if you're still waiting for a trick, a foolproof tip, or some magic to attract women, I hate to break it to you. The game is already over, and you didn't even step on the field. It's time to stop playing I want to be alpha and start being someone of real value. Because in the end, what attracts people, women, men, opportunities, isn't what you pretend to be, it's who you really are. And if the guy you see in the mirror isn't up to the task, maybe it's time to stop reading tips and start doing something about it. In the end, it doesn't matter if you memorize strategies, ready-made phrases, or practice poses in front of the mirror if, on the inside, you're still the same lost guy, full of excuses and fears. The truth is that no one is going to solve your life for you. It's not about attracting women. It's about being someone who has something real to offer. High-value men don't seek desperate approval. They build their own confidence, do the hard work, and above all, stay true to themselves. Now, if all you wanted was an easy shortcut to get attention and keep living in the same mediocrity, sorry, but this video isn't for you. Real men stand up, face difficulties, and make the change happen. So, lift your head, throw away the excuses, and stop behaving like the world owes you something. No one owes you anything. What you build, you conquer. Either do that or stay there, complaining about everything except yourself. And with that, we wrap up. If you got the message, great. If you didn't, good luck with the next tutorial on how to seem interesting in 5 steps. Now it's up to you.